Sunday, a comprehensive win. My name's Jim Dale, alongside me, Frank Watson. They'll be hoping for more of the same from Sunday, won't they, Frank? Really impressive performance.
Yeah, it was a good performance, and I think, in fairness, it also underlined that the performance at Old Trafford in the previous game was also a pretty decent performance, and it's interesting that Worcestershire have gone with an unchanged side. I can't remember, Jim, a T20 campaign when Worcestershire played the same side for 3 consecutive matches. I really can't. So that tells you that they've been fairly happy with their cricket so far. Perhaps not as happy as tonight's visitors, because the Steelbacks are 3 from 3 and going very, very well at the top of the table.
Well, yes, played, of course, last night against Derbyshire, a game that was much closer than they probably should have wanted it to be. Ravi Bopara, you felt, took the game away from Derbyshire, but Samit Patel, another old hand, had her ideas. But it is the undefeated Steelbacks who will bat first here. And Vasconcelos and Matthew Britsky will open up. So as we mentioned, Worcestershire side unchanged. And we'll give you the Northampton Steelbacks side in just a moment. But it is Britsky on strike. New Zealander Duffy on his way in. First ball of this contest. And respected that delivery, first up. So Worcestershire unchanged. Brett D'Oliveira, Ed Pollock, Kashif Ali, Adam Hose, Ethan Brooks, Gareth Roderick with the gloves, Ben Dwarshus, Tom Hindley, Fateh Singh, Adam Finch and Jacob Duffy. So when you have an all-round team performance like Sunday, it's very difficult to get anyone else into the side. Totally understandable that it's unchanged. That's just guided away. And the Steelbacks are off the mark. We did have a flurry of heavy rainfall about an hour or so ago. We thought that might have delayed proceedings, but despite the slightly damp outfield, slightly cloudy conditions, Northants were very happy to bat first, Frank. They want to do a better job of things than they did last night. They weren't particularly
night before,
impressive.
I think.
Oh, was it night before?
Yeah, they have batted well on all 3 occasions that they've played so far. Got a huge 237 for 4 in the first game up against Yorkshire, and knocked off Leicestershire score quite easily in the second one before that game at Derby.
Again, just squared up a little bit. They'll take another single.
And, you know, we've said it many times in T20 commentaries, Jim, over the last few years about momentum at the start of the season being so important, which is why Worcestershire Rapids were so keen to win their second one, having fallen short at Old Trafford. But momentum absolutely with the Steelbacks. They've played really good cricket so far to win 3 out of 3. They must be a confident unit at the moment.
In comes Duffy again, that's pulled away. There is a man out there. Can Ethan Brooks take the catch right on the boundary rope? He can. Just make sure of his footwork. We saw him take a brilliant
exhibited around the world in the last year or two, as Dorsus comes in and bowls, and Willie lets that one go outside the off stump. So a rarity for T20 blast cricket, a leave outside the off stump from David Willey, but they won't want to take too many risks, having got a wicket, having lost a wicket in the first over. Sounds odd to say it in a power play, but just need to when you've lost that first wicket so soon, just need to make sure it's not bang bang, don't you? This one driven, but another dot straight to mid-off and no run. So the Steelbacks winning the toss and choosing to bat, going very well, and a warm welcome on this Worcestershire live stream to any Steelbacks supporters, followers. Happy to have you along, hoping for a good contest between these two old rivals. Here's Dorsus again, and Willie drives again, doesn't really time it, but picks up a single because it didn't go as firmly as the last one, up to mid-off.
You feel like, excuse me, the two overseas fast bowlers, particularly against Yorkshire, just pitched it up just that fraction fuller, which better suits conditions. And you were mentioning first up, Frank, against Yorkshire, the opening rounds of fixtures, bowling short. If you bowl short and bowl quick in the T20 blast this year, you seem to disappear.
It looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks like it. The slower bowlers in the middle overs seem to have held the key to quite a few of the games up and down the country. Vasconcelos clips this one very nicely, but straight to mid-on. Adam Hose, no run, so just one run from the first three balls in the over. In a power play, you would imagine that the batter is now thinking, would like to find a boundary off one of these last two deliveries. Vasconcelos, stocky left-hander, chips this one away on the onside and does find the boundary, beautifully timed in fact. Just drifted into his pads a little bit, Dorsus, and that's a really good shot from Vasconcelos, and they've achieved that boundary, which just takes the pressure off. Raced away, so we might have had some rain, but hasn't made much impact on the outfield. That one really flew, and Ethan Brooks, despite being pretty quick on the boundary, had no chance of cutting that off. Good shot. One ball left then, second over. Dorsus now keen to get out of the over without another boundary, and he does so as Dorsus chips this uppishly away on the leg side. One bounce to Brooks at square leg. End of the second over. 10 for 1. Man out, Britsky for 1.
Well, it's a thoroughly neat and tidy start to proceedings from a Rapids perspective. We're going to see Adam Finch.
Well, it bowled well the other night, Finch the other day, I should say, against Yorkshire. 2 for 19 from his 4 overs.
A rather handy run out as well. Shearer-esque, in he comes then. That's just dabbed down for a single. Classic white ball shot, that. And keen to have a look. I think Vasconcelos as well. He's not been in great form in the opening 3 fixtures.
Got 40 odd in the first one against Yorkshire.
But
dangerous player though.
Tried to whack the casing off the ball against Derbyshire without having a look, so he's being a bit more circumspect here. As Finch is into Willie. And, again, drilled down the ground. Plenty of bottom hand in that shot, but it's straight to the fielder. Rather unlike most teams in this competition, Worcestershire have stuck with seam pretty much throughout every power play as Finch is in again. clipped into the leg side. It's going to be too much for Adam Hose. That's going to go all the way to the boundary. 4 runs. Bit too straight, well picked up. Just a nonchalant flick, that. Just shows what a good all-round cricketer he is. But they have plenty of those at their disposal, Northants. Can Finch respond? Again drilled, mid-off seeing plenty of the ball.
Tough in the power play for the bowlers. Get too straight and bowl a decent length and you're very likely to get hit down the ground. Go short and you've got third man and fine up. Can easily get uppercut or ramped.
Just dropped to the offsides, good quick single. D'Oliveira's in, but he can't prevent rotating the strike. It's good busy cricket this from Steelbacks.
Good over though, isn't it, from Finch? 6 off it, 1 ball left. If he gets out of the over now without this one going to the boundary, that is a good over. If this one goes to the boundary, suddenly it becomes a 10. That's not so good. That's how little margin for error there is for a bowler.
Well, there's plenty of space there. They'll think about 2. They'll get it as well. It's well placed. 8 from the over. I'd say honours even.
Yeah, I think so. In the power play, I think you'd settle for 8s, wouldn't you? Probably. Given some of the power plays that we've seen in the competition this year, there have been some huge scores, way over 70, and that's always difficult for the team batting second. So Adam Finch should settle for 8, I think. An 18 off 3 represents a decent start for the home side. This one from Dorsus is short of length and hammered back at him by Willie, and a quite superb piece of fielding in his follow through by Dorsus. And it's all very well to say if you can't stop them off your own bowling, you can't expect everybody else to stop them, but that was travelling. He made it look as though it didn't sting at all, but I bet he's shaking that hand a little bit as he walks back. Good work from the big man. Willie goes deep in the crease and throws his hands at this one, and he's got 4 over the top, given that bit of width, taking a chance, knowing that if he goes at it hard enough and it clears that infield, it will go all the way, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, it was not quite where he intended it, was it? but it's one of those good batting, because the ball before, he was walking towards the bowl and then he used the depth of his crease.
Yeah. Deep in the crease again, just pushes this one away on the onside for a single. But they've got that boundary early in the over, which takes the pressure off the batters, puts a little bit of pressure on the bowler. Willie now 12, Vasconcelos 9, Dorsus halfway through his second over. He's conceded 11 runs so far. Big man, big broad shoulders, left arm over, likes to mix it up a little bit, and he's holding his head in his hands after that one as Vasconcelos went inside the ball, tried to ramp it, missed it, and it went through to wicketkeeper Roderick, not called wide. Just got a bit too far inside it, Vasconcelos. He's quite good at that shot. Another dot. This one cut away down to third. Another boundary, so 9 off the over. 1 ball to come, and again Dorsus just paying the price for a little bit of, tiny bit of width. just short of a length, and Vasconcelos this time inside it and slicing it away for 4. Big last ball again. And just a single driven wide of mid-off. So another good over for the Steelbacks. 10 runs coming from it. Willie 12, Vasconcelos 14. They're 28 for 1 off 4. I'd say you're probably calling it right, Jim, when you said at the end of Finch's over, honours about even, do you think? 28 off 4 in the power play?
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to judge, isn't it? Because Yorkshire did such a terrible job of trying to chase down. Last time out, was it 55 after the power play? We'll see. But again, length is going to be key here. Dwarsh's a bit short in the previous. Finch pushing that up again, looking for that wrap shot, and it's a mistake by Gareth Roderick. You don't see that very often. Again, Vasconcelos, a 360 player. And Roderick there, just, well, he's been nutmegged. That's what's happened. He's been nutmegged. That doesn't feel good. From a keeping perspective.
Yeah, well, as you say, it doesn't happen very often.
I think he's exceeded expectations from a Worcestershire perspective with the gloves. He's been fantastic, but not so much there. And Vasconcelos goes again, and this is going to find the boundary as well. So, in the past four deliveries or so,
yeah,
they've found the rope 3 times. And again, we talk about margins, Frank, and that's it. A little error at the start of the over takes the pressure off.
Yeah, that's just where he wants it, though, actually. That length and line is just in the slot, really, for Vasconcelos.
In comes Finch again. And that's a false shot, but it doesn't matter because that's going to rattle away. And it's going to be 4 more. And it's been a costly few minutes, this, from a Worcestershire perspective. It's 2 leg side, though, really. When the man's up in the circle, you just throw a bat at it, don't you, knowing that you'd have to be pretty unlucky to pick the man out.
I think you've been a bit unkind to him there, Jim, saying it was a full shot. Looking at the replays, played it pretty assuredly, actually, just got inside. He does move inside the line quite effectively. Makes him difficult to bowl at, because as we saw in Dorsetshire last over, he can also go the other way. It looks good tonight.
Misjudged a little, but a single taken.
Big over, though, as you say, with that 4 off the 5th ball of the previous over and 13 off the first 4 of this over. This last few minutes been quite expensive for the Rapids, and it can be just that close in a T20 game. Just 2 or 3 minutes. A lack of concentration, perhaps, and the whole pattern can change.
Finch will have a crack at Willie then, and just tickles that round the corner. They'll take another single. It's sensible cricket, good cricket from Willie. The heavy lifting for the over has been done.
Yeah.
So if you get a bad one, clatter it. If you don't, respect it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good over, whatever happens now. It'll be one of the bigger overs.
And then from nowhere, really, Vasconcelos has found himself to 23 from 13 balls. And he's that man on strike again. Clipped into the leg side. There are a couple of men out there. And there's a misfield again.
Oh dear.
And you've got a feel for Adam Finch there. It's gone straight through the man. And rather uncharacteristic that Worcestershire are giving runs away in the field here.
Yeah, well, that was a really expensive over from a Worcestershire point of view, wasn't it? And 18 runs coming from that over. I mean, that is. That is good at any point, but when you've just, well, we said honours even, 28 for 1 off 4, 46 for 1 off 5. Jacob Duffy back. And Willie just clips this one away for a single. The pressure is off a little bit now, off the batters. They won't want to block it by any means. Not saying that, but the pressure's off with that big over. And they're going to get to the end of the power play. They're going to be over 50, thereabouts, maybe a bit more. And if they're only one down, it'll be very much a reinforcement of their decision to bat when they won the toss. Clipped away again by Vasconcelos on the leg side. Just be one as Ethan Brooks comes in.
Well, it's hard enough to bowl in T20 as it is.
Yeah.
But if your fielders don't back you up, then it makes it doubly difficult.
Yeah, I mean, you could basically 7 runs came that shouldn't have come from that over. It should have been 11. It was 46. It was 18, and it total went up to 46. Short from Duffy and quick, and a dot as Willie tried to uppercut it over the wicket-keeper. That's what I meant about Duffy the other day, and I thought Dorshus as well. We just started to see them running through the repertoire, you know, the odd slower one, the odd Yorker, just mixing it up a little bit. Good bowling from Duffy there, but a great start nonetheless for the Steelbacks. Willie advances down the pitch this time and just chops it out on the offside for a single. Worcestershire need this over to be tighter without a boundary, ideally, if they're to get somewhere near to restoring parity after that expensive 5th over. So the overs so far 4, 6, 8, 10, 18, and 3 off this one so far. 2 balls left. Beautifully played by Vasconcelos. Talked about his use of the crease and the fact that he goes inside and outside the ball. On this occasion, just gone inside it and a perfectly executed ramp shot. Even though Duffy had pitched that ball up outside the off stump, Vasconcelos, having made his mind up what he was going to do, fielder up, moved across, kept his head still, got his body out of the way and executed it perfectly. Good batting. 32 off 16 now. And this is driven straight to mid on Hose Fields. And there's no run. So just the one boundary from the over. But 7 runs came from it. At the end of the power play, the Steelbacks are handily placed at 53 for 1.
Well, we're going to see Swiss Army knife Ethan Brooks.
How do you rate a 53 for 1 power play, Jim?
Do you know what? I mean,
it's hard to say on this pitch.
I would say it's a power play of 2 halves. If you're looking at it out of context, you'd say minor advantage to the batting side. I think, given the way things have gone the last 3 overs, I think it's turned into a very productive one from the Steelbacks' perspective.
Just the one down.
It's clubbed away. Will it bice up the 2 fielders? There's a man out there, and he'll just keep it in. Great effort. Said Pollock out there. Full commitment to the cause. Great body control. Right on the boundary rope there. Saved a boundary.
Don't think Ed Pollock would have done that a few years ago, you know. I think even players who have fairly experienced are continually developing their fielding skills in this white ball competition.
Plenty of open space on the leg side, so Vasconcelos will take a single.
I'm not saying he wouldn't have tried it, but I just think the more you play, the more you see what is possible in the field, the more players raise their game.
Well, the expectations now are so high, aren't they?
Yeah.
The highlight reels are so impressive that the being excellent should really be a standard. He was certainly excellent there. In comes Brooks again, and that's heaved down the ground. That's gone many a mile. 6 runs. clean strike. He's a big man, David Willey. He needs no invitation. He's absolutely crunched that.
Yeah, talk about clear the front leg. Crikey.
I mean, he didn't get all of it by any stretch. He was lean. It was stretching forward a little bit, but it was always going to go. And drilled again. Ed Pollock won't get that.
Well, the
so
platform,
hard at D'Oliveira then.
The platform's laid, isn't it, when you're only one down in the power play? And David Willey's decided, I'm not going to let these part-timers come on after the power play and take the pace off it and just bowl at us. He's put Brooks under a lot of pressure right from the start. 14 off the first 4 balls.
And that's launched into the leg side. That's going to be 6 more. Kashif Ali can't get anywhere near that. Not on the step ladder, not even close. And it's raining boundaries here. And this is a powerful Steelbacks lineup as well. There's plenty more power hitting in the hutch. But David Willey's fantastic season continues. What a good player he is. No sign of him slowing down. I always thought he was rather unlucky with the way his England career ended as well. Unlucky not to be part of that World Cup squad. Fabulous cricketer. And
keeps the strike.
Why wouldn't he?
21 off that over.
A couple of 4s, a couple of 6s, and all of a sudden a solid start becomes an excellent one.
Well, 46 off the last 3 overs. I mean, that tells its own story. And David Willey, 28 off 19. Vasconcelos 33 off 18. Both going exceptionally well. There's something, we're talking about David Willey and his England career. There's something that just sounds right about a Willey being in the Northamptonshire side, doesn't it? And he's obviously returned to Wantage Road and he's an absolutely key man. Talking of key men, it's quite a bold bowling change here, with Worcestershire bringing on their left arm wrist spinner Tom Hinley to bowl to the 2 left-handers with the bigger boundary on the leg side. His first ball is short of a length and Willey just whacks it off the back foot up to Adam Hose at long off for a single. So Hinley, who played in a couple of second team T20s this week, 2 overs for 12 in the previous game here at New Road. Vasconcelos beaten this time outside the off stump.
Well, he certainly got that one up there, didn't he? Plenty of air on that.
This one a little bit shorter and just worked away on the leg side for a single.
Yeah, it's a googly, I think, and enough time for him to have a look at it and just tuck it away. Difficult skill, wrist spin.
Oh, and he's got him, rolled him. Gone back to cut one that maybe has just hurried onto him a little bit. And that is a big wicket and a very, very much needed wicket from a Worcestershire point of view. And that has turned quite sharply actually, and Willey's gone back. And not sure if it hit the pad or just went straight through, but very, very important strike by Tom Hinley. And David Willey has gone for an outstanding 36, bowled by Tom Hinley.
Well, he didn't pick it, did he? He was expecting it to turn away as a normal leg break, but it followed him. Cramp for room, and he's got to go. It's a brilliant knock, but a vital breakthrough. And it brings Justin Broad to the crease. Normally lower middle order batter, but he's been promoted in this campaign. Very good sweeper of a ball. Favours the leg side, can hit it a fair old way.
Big wicket for Tom Henley. Turning it back into the left-hander. No bowling to the right-handed Broad. And this one again goes that way, just goes across him. A little bit quicker. Bit of fizz off the pitch. Good dot. Good work, good over so far. In again to complete it. Bit too full. Broad sweeps. And they go through for a leg bye. So that's an excellent over from Tom Henley. Just 3 runs coming from it. 2 off the bat and that leg bye. The wicket of David Willey. 77 for 2. Big over that for Worcestershire's. Just repaired a little bit of the damage, Jim.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it's when you've got 2 batsmen set and being aggressive, coming on as a slow bowler, you've got to have plenty of courage. But he went through the repertoire there, Henley. A couple of googlies, a slider as well. And we're going to see spin from both ends. Fateh Singh, another left armer, finger spinner this time. Gives a decent start to the blast from a Rapids perspective. Let's push down the ground. Ed Pollock will see more action. So a single taken, it'll be absolutely right for him. So important. 2 batsmen set and Willie looking really dangerous, and it just halts proceedings a little bit. Henley, a young cricketer as well. Plenty of development there, as is with Fateh Singh. Again, pushed into plenty of open spaces on the leg side. Think about 2. But, they'll think better of it. And Kashif is quick across the ground there. Improved every year in the field, Kashif Ali. So it's Singh to Broad. And there's a little reverse there, didn't get hold of it. He does favour the sweep, so anything full he'll look to.
2 men behind square on the offside, but they're both inside the ring.
Tries it again, and bowled him.
Quicker ball, that's clever bowling, I think. Seen him go for that reverse the ball before. Obviously shaped to go for it again, and it's fired that one through. And it's gone on with the arm, yeah, beautifully bowled.
And Justin Broad was there for neither a good time or a long time, let's be honest. And pace-off has worked an absolute charm. Out comes Ravi Bopara, another former England international, another super talented all-rounder who's having a fantastic campaign. He's yet to be dismissed, in fact. Red ink against his name in all 3 fixtures. Only made 1 against Yorkshire, but 46 not out against Leicestershire, and against Derbyshire he was just a one-man wrecking ball, Frank. Some fantastic clean hitting. I know it's short, straight boundary there, but
yeah, brilliant. He's a brilliant cricketer, and he may be nearing the end of his career, but he's still producing, and just an ideal man to come in the middle of the innings. If you're in trouble, he can calm things down. If you're going well, he can get on board, and he could play second fiddle to Vasconcelos here. Ideal man to come in when you've lost a couple of wickets.
Confident forward press there from Bopara. He can play any kind of innings, can't he?
Yeah.
And he's seen it all before. He won't see much of Fateh Singh though, and it's dropped.
Oh, that's expensive. Well, it could be expensive. Goodness me.
Just losing his footing.
Jacob Duffy, I think.
And what has proven to be an excellent
Dorsus,
over.
I think. Was it Dorsus?
An excellent over, could have been a phenomenal one. But we saw a couple of shots like that against Derbyshire as well, where he could have perished early, and he made them pay. Well, Worcestershire suffer the same fate. but a cracking start from both Hindley and Fateh Singh.
Hindley in and just stroked by Bopara up to long off for a single. Yeah, could be really expensive, that. Goodness me. What a wicket that would have been for Fateh Singh, and would have turned things right around. Worcestershire will be hoping he doesn't make them pay. Full from Hindley outside the off stump, and a wide called by umpire Paul Pollard as Gareth Roderick takes. Somebody said to me beforehand, Bopara's been in good form. I said, well, he's got to fail sometime. This one heaved away on the leg side by Vasconcelos. Disappointed he only gets one. And, well, that might have been the opportunity. But,
yeah, body weight was just wrong, though, wasn't it? And then the feet started to go on the damp grass.
Yeah, no.
Could be a big moment.
Hindley full toss. Bopara only able to tuck it away for a single. So the men out. Pritsky 1, Willie 36 after a partnership of 74 in just 7 overs for the second wicket, and Broad for 1. Hindley slightly quicker again and pulled around by Vasconcelos. Good over so far. One off each delivery, but that's absolutely fine from a Worcestershire point of view at this stage. Boundaries are their enemy in these middle overs. Hindley to Bopara, cut. They'll take one, they'll come back for 2 as Pollock fields. Hindley staying over the wicket to the right-hander. But no boundaries yet in the over from the young spinner. And no boundaries in the over at all, because that'll just be another couple to Bopara. So 10 gone, halfway point, 89 for 3. Probably those of us that have seen a lot of T20 cricket here in the last 2 or 3 years, Jim, would say that 160, 170 is about par.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
We saw 200 in the first innings for Worcestershire against Yorkshire the other day, but honours fairly even at the moment.
Singing to Vasconcelos, it's full, it's squeezed down to the offside. Got plenty of it actually, Vasconcelos. Well, this will be a real test. I don't think Yorkshire bowled particularly well, and they didn't do a good job of the chase. But I mean, as a yardstick, they beat Worcestershire twice last season. As Singh is into Bopara again, and lofted down the ground for a single. And the dismissal of Willie has just taken the heat out of things a little bit. There was 9 from the last over. It's run slowly. Accumulate. Fuller again, and again into the leg side. It's well timed. It might beat the 2 midfielders out there, but Kashif will cut it off. So they'll take a couple. So they may not be finding the boundary, but they're finding gaps. 1s and 2s. Rotating the strike as well. 93 for 3 the score. In comes Singh again. Clipped off his legs. Vasconcelos will carry on his merry way. .41 to him now. Bopara's there, 8 not out. Been given a chance, been given a life. He'll want to capitalise. Again, pitched up by Fateh Singh. Revs on the ball. He's getting it through quickly as well. Last ball of the over. Can he get out clean? He can. Oh no, he can't. Again, it's a misfield, and they're going to get 2. And that's sloppy, if you're honest. Surprising from the Worcestershire captain. So 8 from that over as well. Score on to 97 for 3. But 2 young spinners that giving a good account of themselves.
Yeah, they're doing a good job
against
so far.
Highly skilled and experienced opposition.
Hindley 2 overs for 11, and Singh 2 overs for 10. Ethan Brooks being reintroduced. So it is apprentice to master at the moment, because if you talk to Ethan Brooks, Bopara is his model in many ways. With his bowling and his batting, he bowls similar pace, driven by the master down the ground for a single, and he tries to mix things up a little bit in the Ravi Bopara way. And a similar sort of batter in many ways, quite skillful, 360 player, manipulator, rather than a massive hitter. But will Worcestershire live to regret that drop of Ravi Bopara? Brooks to Vasconcelos, who's been there since the start, goes for a big hit down the leg side, missed it, it's signalled wide, and it's gone all the way to the rope, or has it? Flicked back inside the rope. They're coming back for 3. There might be a bit of a steward's inquiry into whether that was saved. I think they've decided it was, but sloppy. I think, in fairness, we've seen 2 or 3 misfields. We've seen a wide, or 2 or 3 wides. We've seen evidence that the ball's getting a bit greasy on the surface. Jim had that heavy rain about an hour before the start. Brooks in. Dot ball this time as he hits Bopara on the pad. But more misfields tonight than we've seen from Worcestershire for a long time, I think. And
yes, I think
that the nature of the surface is probably...
There's an element of mitigation. I would also say, though, if the ball's coming at you not very fast, get your whole body behind it. So I think there's been a couple of occasions where just get something behind it.
Brooks in, Bopara heaves him away on the leg side, and it's 6.
He got plenty behind
Slightly
that, didn't he?
slower. That was the effort, the technique employed by Brooks, the loft cutter into the pitch, but Bopara just waited for it and hit it very nicely. And he knew, Bopara didn't even look after he'd hit it, he knew it was going all the way. Brooks been expensive tonight. 108 for 3. Fuller this time, thick inside edge. They run for 1, Bopara wants 2. He's sent back by Vasconcelos as Hose comes in from mid-wicket. Vasconcelos, 43 off 27. You'd probably fancy him for the launch now. But Bopara not hanging around. Vasconcelos expertly plays the reverse. Not going down on one knee, just a little paddle shot, but beautifully executed. He's a very skillful player. And he knew exactly what he was doing. It's a bit of a case of the biter bit, really, because exactly the sort of shot that Ethan Brooks favours himself. And this is a big over, 16 from it, 1 ball left.
Well, he's usually rather miserly, isn't he, Ethan Brooks' variations? But you're right, Vasconcelos waited for it. Great hand-eye coordination.
Played really well, hasn't he? Just dabs this one down on the offside and keeps the strike. Clever batting from Vasconcelos. I think, you know, when you look at Vasconcelos now, 48 off 29, and 16 coming off that over. You'd struggle really to remember many of his shots. It's not as if he's been blasting it all around the ground, but he's just been ruthlessly efficient, really, in terms of opening the batting in a T20. It's been a superb exhibition.
Well, I mean, you've seen some good timing, some proper on drives, you've seen a few inventive shots, and you've seen some good running and singles and twos taken. As Sings in again, and that's good work from Roderick there. As the reverse was attempted. But it's just been a
7
man in
fours,
control
no
of his art.
sixes, just really good T20 batting.
Met on the full, fielded well though by Fateh Singh. It's good game awareness as well. You know, taking singles last ball, respecting the good ball when you've got the runs for the over. So he looks to sweep aggressively but doesn't time it. One of the few he hasn't timed. And they'll get a single for it though, as he creeps towards a half century. Brings the former England man on strike in Ravi Bopara. But yeah, just a man completely in control of his craft this evening. And fired in full and well fielded. So a welcome dot ball as Fateh Singh's already well through a lion's share of his third over. 2 balls to come from it, only 11 runs conceded. It's a solid drive down the ground. Adam Hose will be there, so it'll be a single. I've been really impressed with Singh. I know that the coach, Alan Richardson, was a big fan, very happy to get him on board, wasn't he, in the off-season. Signed from Nottinghamshire. Send this across. Left-handed Vasconcelos, and it's another dot. 2 runs from it, and you have to say, for all the tap that's coming from the other end with Ethan Brooks, Fateh Singh is just making sure the Steelbacks don't get away. They're in a great position, mind.
They are, but that was a hugely important over, wasn't it? That's the most economical over of the innings so far. And to come in over number 13, that's a pretty good effort from the young man.
2 men who are set as well. And the ebb and flow, just when you think Steelbacks are getting on top, and you can just pull them back and rein them in. And a flurry of boundaries. We're going to see the skipper have a bowl, Frank. This doesn't happen as much as it should, I don't think.
Well, he's only bowled 1 over in this competition so far. This one is driven off the back foot by Bopara up to long off for a single. He bowled 1 over in the first game up at Old Trafford. Just went for 6 runs. Could well have bowled later, but didn't. I think a lot of people would share your view that we don't see enough of him bowl, and I think it's something that we expected when he became captain almost, in all forms. Vasconcelos goes big this time. That is massive. That's gone all the way. Brooks initially was interested, but I said Vasconcelos was ready to charge, and he brings his 50 up with his first 6. Got right underneath it. Mighty heave. A long way up and a long way over the boundary at deep mid-wicket. Great shot.
It did look like for a second Brooks might be interested, but it just kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah, great
his first
strike.
6, he's hit 7 fours. Quicker, flatter from D'Oliveira. Cut just for a single. Kashi Valley out on the boundary at deep cover. But they are perfectly poised now to charge. They really are. I mean, it might be the 14th over, but you've got to be looking at, they've got to be targeting 200 here with only 3 down. D'Oliveira, quicker. Bopara, that's even bigger. That's huge. That is massive. Straight down the ground, over the Basil D'Oliveira stand, and Brett D'Oliveira going the distance.
As I was saying, Frank, we really shouldn't see him bowl so much.
That was a beautiful shot, wasn't it? It really was. If you're watching this, whether you're of a Northamptonshire or Worcestershire persuasion, if you want to see how to use your feet and hit a slow bowler back straight down the ground, you're not going to see a much better example than that.
Well, it was so controlled,
beautiful,
timed beautifully.
Yeah.
It looked effortless. There was an elegance to it, but the power generated from the technique. Yeah, fabulous shot.
Massive shot as well. It's cleared the stand. They've got a box of spares out now, and they found one that they're happy with, the umpires. And Brett D'Oliveira 14 off his first 4 balls.
Well, the merry dance continues. A tight over followed by a walloping.
Yeah, absolutely.
130 for 3. Yeah, I think 200 minimum they'll want.
Got to be looking at 200, I think, now. Bopara, having hit the second 6 of the over, realises that he's under no pressure to do any more than just push this one down the ground for a single. And that's exactly what I was trying to sort of explain when he came out to bat. His ability to just manage any situation is crucial. I think having a player like that in your side can be so important. Vasconcelos is down the ground, whacking this one down to long on, but fielded there by Dorcius, and they only get a single. So the end of the over from D'Oliveira, and 17 runs came from it. So we had an over that went for two, and then an over for 17. And I would say if you're 3 down with 130 on the board, 6 overs left, got to be looking at 200 at least.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd say 210, 220. That's what they'll be looking at, because they've got Saves Dave, who's got a good record against Worcestershire actually, and Lewis McManus as well. Both clean strikers of a ball as Sings into his final over here. Launched down the ground, not gotten hold of it fully. On the bounce though to Pollock as we see a few more raindrops, Frank. Just in front of us, away to our left-hand side. He looks slightly northwards. Dark grey clouds, which we don't want to see. But Fatty Singh's going to bowl through here. 4 overs on the bounce. Doesn't happen very often, slow bowler or otherwise. Just that feeling that you'll get lined up by batters, but Singh's actually bowled perfectly well. In he comes again round the wicket, and that one's of a length. A little bit of grip there, a little bit of turn away. He's not a prodigious turner by any stretch, but the revs he gets on the ball to get that ball to dip and drift in, that's where his value is as he comes in again. And pushed down the ground. The right sort of weight for 2, but there's a slip in there. It means that Vasconcelos is on his knees. So 1 it will be. And Bopara just quietly moves his way to 26. Vasconcelos playing a great hand here on 58. Got 4 ball there, dug out well. They'll think about 2 because there's plenty of space again. Kashyap's to the ball quickly. So again, Fateh Singh just dealing in singles here. 3 runs from the first 4 balls. 2 more balls left of this economical spell. Do Northants attack him, or do they respect him? Again, it's full, and it's another dot ball. So the rain comes down a little bit heavier. Doesn't seem to worry the umpires much, which is good news. Last ball of his spell then. And it will just be a single, pushed down the ground. 4 overs, 1 for 16, Frank, and that's a fantastic effort in the context of this game. What a good pickup he's been.
It is, and let's also bear in mind that he had Bopara dropped when he first came in. It could have been even better. It's an absolutely super spell. Big day for him tomorrow when Worcestershire travel up to Trent Bridge. Forecast not good apparently for that one tomorrow, but he will be looking forward to that. Ben Dwarshuis coming back into the attack at the Diglis end. Bopara clips this one away on the onside. Such a distinctive style, Bopara, that little flick of the bottom hand through on the leg side. I just love watching him play. He's well, you used the word elegant, Jim, and that really is a word that you don't often use about batters in T20 cricket, do you? You tend to use it when you're talking about batters in the longer form of the game, but he's a bit elegant in everything he does. Vasconcelos is out, caught behind. He's gone for the ramp 1 time too many. Didn't like the decision, but there was a confident appeal, and I think it's just gone off the face as Dorcius ball at the stumps, and he's looking to flick it from middle, and not happy about the decision, but it was a confident appeal, almost as the ball was on its way to Gareth Roderick. So there must have been a noise of some sort. It's a big wicket. Vasconcelos was threatening to charge, as we said. He's played beautifully for his 59. Important time for Worcestershire to make breakthrough. Will Bopara now be the man to take over the mantle of sort of main attacking batter? I think he probably will, as he's joined by another very, very dangerous left-hander who's done very well against Worcestershire in this competition in the past, Saif Zaib.
Well, you're right, he didn't like the decision. Seeing a little bit more of that knowing look at the umpire and that hint of, I wouldn't say dissent, but batters seem to be less accepting than they used to. But you're right, he's played a cracking knock. It was everything that his last innings wasn't really, which was that expansive drive first ball to the young Afghani spinner in midweek. But this was just a controlled, measured, aggressive but skillful innings.
Dorsius in to the new man, and Zaib is off the mark, pushing this into the offside for a single. So the details on the Vasconcelos innings: 59 runs, 39 balls, 7 fours and a 6, but dismissed just as he might have been considering going on a real charge. Will it stop the Steelbacks from reaching 200? Bopara hammers this one away on the leg side for 4. Diving attempt by Kashif out on the boundary in his orange boots, but it didn't get there. And Bopara is continuing his outstanding form in this competition, yet to be dismissed, as Jim was saying. Could have been dismissed today for 3, I think he was on at the time, but put down and making Worcestershire pay at the moment. Dorsius is in again, well bowled by Dorsius and dabbed down on the offside by Bopara, who then has to hurry back into his ground as Dorsius tries to repeat Adam Finch's heroics the other day with a kick on, a football attempt at a run out, but missed the stumps. But well bowled, could change of pace, I think. Only just wide of the post from Dorsius. They're not so good at football, are they, Aussies? You got a boy from a Wolves fan against an Aussie. Finch is always going to win that one. Dorsius again. Bopara clips it away on the onside. Sees the opportunity to come back for 2, but actually can't do so as hoses quickly in off the boundary. End of the over from Dorsius. 7 from it, 143 for 4, and now Worcestershire will be hoping they can keep the Steelbacks below 200, maybe around about 180, 185. 4 to go.
Well, we're going to see Duffy again from the New Road end as we enter the final 4 overs. And it's the old hand, Ravi Bopara, 40 years young, against the #1 ranked world T20 international bowler in Jacob Duffy. And he comes. And it's drilled straight into the offside. There's no run. Good bit of fielding. So again, just with that over, 7 from it, a wicket. Just calms things down again. A big 3 and a bit overs to come. In comes Duffy. In comes the ramp. Can't get hold of it though. Premeditated shot. And the thing about the elegance of Bopara, I think it's balance. It's when you think about cover drives and the shots and the batsmen that look really elegant. It's that balance. It's almost dance-like, I think, Frank.
Yeah.
And that's where the elegance comes from. It's the transfer of weight. In comes Duffy again. Full ball this time. Hose is in action. Out on the boundary. And he'll do the fielding. Single only.
It's been a curious mix this innings, hasn't it?
Yeah.
From a bowling point of view. It's been a curious mix. You've seen overs that have gone for 3, 3, 4, 2, 4. And yet there have been in there overs that have gone for 18, 16, 17, 21. I can't remember an innings that's been so varied.
If you get it in the right areas, you'll be rewarded. But any hint of width and anything short is going to go. And that's dug into the pitch. And that was almost above the head periscope-esque from Zabe as he drops that into the leg side. I'll have a single. 1, 4, 5 for 4. 3 overs and 2 balls to go. Again, it's gone quiet, Frank. Here we go then. Duffy in, just 2 from the over so far. So a length that's pulled away. But Brooks will be there to do some very tidy fielding, keep them to 2, slide in. Up he gets, throws it in all in one motion. Super cricketer. Not had a great day with the ball today. So Duffy will be looking to get out the over. Just 4 from it. 1 ball to come. That's launched down the ground. Has he got enough of it? Can Hose get there? He can. And a good over's become a great over, because Duffy's got another one. The safe hands of Adam Hose. And Bopara finally has to depart. The first time he's been dismissed in this competition, but not before he made a very, very handy 36 from 29. So Duffy, 2 for 15 from his 3. He's doing his part too.
Yeah, you just said a good over's become a great over. That was it's a tremendous over at this point. I think to only go for 4, and the last 3 have seen Worcestershire strike back after that big over. Went for 17 when D'Oliveira tried his arm, but the next 3, 4, 7 and 4, and Dwarcius and Duffy, as they did on Sunday, I think, just showing a little bit of experience and changes of pace and hitting their areas, and they've turned it round a little bit, and now 200, which looked distinctly on, looks a little bit too far away for the Steelbacks. Super knock from Bopara though. Finch back into the attack, and Zabe cuts first ball of the next over past a diving fielder, and Kashif Ali is a second diving fielder on the rope, and between 3 fielders Worcestershire managed to keep that down to 3 runs. So 3 runs off the first ball from Finch. Just to give you Bopara's details, he was out for 36, faced 30 deliveries, and he hit 1 4 but 2 6s. So and one of them, for me, the shot of the day. I'll remember it for a long time. That chassis down the pitch, the most beautiful strike back over Brett D'Oliveira's head. 150's up. Finch just turned off the legs by the new batsman, who is Lewis McManus, the keeper.
The key as well, getting that wicket, is that Bopara, I mean, he was the difference really against Derbyshire in the last over. In that game, he faced 5 balls. He hit 3 6s and a 4, and they won by 6 runs. So Worcester should be glad to see the back of him. He could do real damage.
Finch to Zabe, just tucks this one off his pads out on the leg side for a single.
So having a batter set that can do everything and seen everything in the last over, momentum going into the interval. These two are very capable, of course.
Yeah, Zabe is quite destructive. Hits a long ball, McManus busy, like most keeper batters. Still be hoping for about 180, I would have thought. That one short and heaved away on the leg side for 6 by McManus. That's not a bad shot, second ball up, is it? Not having any problem getting used to the pace of that one. It's in the slot, to be fair, just short of a length. And
well, we've seen anyone that isn't Duffy bowling short. They haven't quite got the pace.
Yeah.
And they get the treatment. Really, yeah, right. A really clean strike, wasn't it?
Finch very expensive so far today, unlike on Sunday. Hooked again by McManus, this time off the front foot out to Kashif Ali at backward point. Backward square leg, I should say, and they take a single. So one bowler through his full set of overs. Fateh Singh, the pick of the bowlers, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 16. But Finch so far none for 34. 1 ball left in his second over. And this one is sliced away on the offside, and that's 4 more. Just got inside it, Zabe, and sliced it over backward point. Sort of shot we see quite frequently in white ball cricket, giving himself room. Nothing wrong with the delivery, to be fair. Fullish on off stump, but the margins for error are so small, and poor old Adam Finch has gone to the boundary again. So 3 overs, no maidens, no wicket for 38 for Finch, and that over yielded 16.
So the theme of not many or plenty,
yeah, it's
continues.
amazing, isn't it?
it just
17, 4, 7, 4, 16.
It's going to make for an interesting Manhattan.
It really is, yeah.
We're going to see Dwarfs from the other end. Australian quick bowler who has come back to Worcestershire for a second stint and looks altogether.
And then I think we'll see Duffy bowl the last one, won't we?
Yeah, that's right. 2 overs to go then. 1, 6, 3 for 5. 2 batsmen that are more than capable. Really good cricketers. Good contest this. In comes Dorcius. Pulled away. Is there enough on that? I don't think he's got enough of it. Oh, look, Brooks is trying to keep it in.
No.
It's gone for 6. He did get enough in the end. 2 hands to it was Ethan Brooks. He tried to parry it back into the field of play, but there was enough on it. Good start this for the Steelbacks.
McManus is flying, isn't he? 14 off 4.
Well, we said that they had power all the way down the batting lineup. How can Dwarcius respond? McManus stand and deliver. Fuller this time, clipped into the leg side, and it means that Hindley can come and do the fielding, and it'll just be a single. Ideal start to the over, though. Takes the pressure off. There's Ethan Brooks there. He was rubbing his elbow after the attempted save. Zabe on strike. Left-hander goes deep in his crease. Looks to pull it away. He's got enough on that's going to go over Roderick's head, and that's going to go for 4 as well. So, slightly fortuitous. Deep in his crease, but it's leg side. He's just got plenty of, I think that's come off the glove. And it's just ballooned over. And all of a sudden, 200 looks visible for these two, but of course,
well,
from over to over, halfway through the 19th, Dwarcius on his way in. Played out as the offside. It's a diving effort, but there's too much on it. It's flown out through to extra cover, and Ethan Brooks despite his best efforts, cannot stop the flurry of boundaries. Steelbacks got a good record against Worcestershire, and he just moves to ledge side, hits into extra cover. Really good batting.
31 off the last 10 deliveries.
Dwarfiston again, and again more of the same. As Zabe looks to move around the crease. Can't get anything on that. It's a brief moment of respite. At 15 from the over, with 1 ball to go. And I think it's everything must go at this point. 7 balls left of the innings. Zabe waits. Left-hander to left-hander. Slower this time. And it's Fox, the batsman. It's a good bit of bowling in the end. A couple of dot balls to finish out the over. But an expensive one. 178 for 5. And if you just get it a little bit wrong, this Steelbacks batting lineup will make you pay. And I think the Rapids will want a really neat and tidy over to finish things out.
Well,
because we're going to be north of par, I think, here.
Yeah,
But
probably below where they thought they were going to be at one stage. But there have been some expensive overs first in the power play, a 10 and an 18.
Well, I mean, looking at the economies tells the story in itself.
Yeah,
plenty north, well, into double figures, and several bowlers who have been miserly to say the least, as Duffy will close things out. Last over of the innings.
First ball, what a beautiful shot from McManus. Gosh, he's played well tonight, hasn't he, since he's come out. He's 19 off 6 now. That was a lovely shot. Just stood very still, given a bit of width, not a huge amount of footwork, but just hammered on the up.
What I like about him is he plays the shot he needs to. He plays the shot the ball demands, and I've got plenty of time for that in a world of premeditated cricket.
Only cuts this one away, but straight to Brooks this time, just a single. So just to recap, talking about this feast or famine, the overs, they've been, one over went for 2, 2 overs have gone for 3, 1, 2, 3 overs have gone for 4. But there have been 7 overs that have gone for more than 10, and 1 that has gone for more than 20. So it really has been an unusually up and down Manhattan. Zabe carts this one from Duffy, no other way to describe it really, just stands and swivels on it and pulls it round to backward square leg for a single. Fielder was Dorcious. 184 for 5 then, with 3 balls left. So 200 looks out of reach, but it's not going to be far off. Looks a good pitch again. Seen batsmen able to play their shots. We haven't seen much in the way of, we saw a little bit of sideways movement for the spinners. Not maybe one that we thought early on kept a bit low, Jim, but
yeah, it's played pretty true, I think.
Fairly decent surface. Good Yorker from Duffy. Through McManus. Well bowled. Dot at this stage is gold dust, really. 2 balls left. I mean, just these 2 balls, you know, you bowl 2 good ones here and you keep it below 185, 188, 189. Suddenly it looks a bit more chaseable. Concede a couple of boundaries. Looks a bit more difficult. And
it's going to be a
wide. Yeah. Duffy just didn't quite get it right. McManus, interestingly, given it, what you said, just left it, just ignored it, and just thought, yeah, I know what I'm going to get here. 20 off 8. How well he's played. How well they've all played, really. And again, hammered by McManus, this time only for a single as D'Oliveira fields it. mid-off, and the throw comes in, and Duffy gets hit on the knee by the throw.
Thanks, Skip.
Even he's laughing about it. He got his hands to it, and it bounced off his hands as Dolliver threw it in quite hard.
Well, it's
probably not worth throwing it in quite like that.
No,
at this stage, I don't think.
I don't think the
they
pot
got the
odds
one
were in his
anyway.
favour. But there we are.
You know, then again, if he'd got a run out and they ended up winning by 1 run.
Well, going back to the Manhattan, Frank.
Yeah.
So, Fateh Singh, the standout bowler, economy of 4. Tom Hindley's couple of overs went for 5.5.
Yeah.
Duffy has been going at 6s. We'll see how this last ball goes, knee depending. But then you go to Finch, 3 overs going for almost 13. Brooks's 2 overs went for 19s.
Yeah.
D'Oliveira's 1 over went for 16. So there's some really big numbers there, economy-wise.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it does ask the question, Hindley only got 2 overs. Might have been worth 1 more.
And he only got 2 last time as well. I think that has tended to be the plan. Duffy to complete the innings. And Zabe swings at it, gets a top edge over the keeper's head, and it goes to the boundary. So that is the end of the Steelbacks innings. 190 for 5 is their total. Worcestershire will need 191 to win. The standout innings, Vasconcelos 59 off 39 deliveries, Bopara 36 off 30. Zabe finishes on 23 off 11, and Lewis McManus a very, very handy 21 off just 9 deliveries. Extraordinary difference in the bowling figures between those of the spinners and the seamers. Worcestershire will need 191 to win, Jim, and yeah, we're putting it just over par, but not beyond Worcestershire.
I think the key here is that if you put the ball in the right areas, then it's going to be hard work for this Worcestershire side. If they don't get it right, then this is very chaseable. But of course, there's a small matter of contending with David Willey with a new ball. So it's got all the making. Worcestershire's batting lineup is in form, but former England opening bowler who is absolutely dynamite at the moment. We'll see how that pans out in about 8 or so minutes' time, when you can join us for the Worcestershire reply. As it stands, Steelbacks have set 191 to win, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Well, welcome back to Visit Worcestershire New Road. The Rapids openers make their way down the Graham Hick Pavilion steps. Brett D'Oliveira, fresh off the back of a career-high 79 in T20 cricket. He managed against Yorkshire. Ed Pollock was breezy, I would say, in that innings. He's a shotter ball. He's always worth a watch, is Ed Pollock. Hits a long ball, particularly out towards the leg side. You put it in the slot, he will send it. And Worcestershire will look to chase down 191 to win back-to-back home games in the Vitality T20 Blast. My name's Jim Dale, alongside me Frank Watson. How do you see this one going then, Frank?
Well, I think you and I considered 190 to be a bit above par. That said, Worcestershire got 200 batting first against Yorkshire on Sunday, so they have scored more than this in an innings in this competition this year. But those of us that have watched a lot of cricket over the last year or two here at New Road consider 170-ish to be par, so they'll have to play well. As you said, David Willey might be key. And his first ball to Ed Pollock is driven and misfielded at mid-off, and they get a single. So the first misfield of the innings. We saw several in the Northampton innings, uncharacteristically at times from Worcestershire fielders. Gareth Roderick, the keeper, making one mistake, cost 4 byes. Brett D'Oliveira, who rarely misfields, making another. But slight mitigation given that it's a little bit greasy on top out there after some earlier rain. Willie bowls, D'Oliveira drives straight to the fielder at cover. So 191 the target. You've mentioned David Willey's prowess in this competition. I think one way of looking at it is that David Willey can only bowl 24 deliveries out of the 120 that Worcestershire will face. And they don't have to score a huge number of runs off those deliveries.
Well, that's it. I mean, I think it is key. Don't let David Willey beat you. He's been absolutely phenomenal with the new ball.
D'Oliveira deep in the crease as this one goes down the leg side, and he's signalled wide by Willey, who looks puzzled, surprised almost that he's managed to do that. Not entirely happy with the umpire's signal. As you said earlier, there's an increasing trend in the game at the moment, I think, in red and white ball, for players to make known their disgruntlement from time to time.
Yeah, I don't like it, Frank. I'll be honest. I don't like it.
Willie bowls, D'Oliveira clips this away on the leg side. That's nicely timed. It won't go all the way, but it will bring him a couple. And as I say, I think if Worcestershire were to see David Willey's 4 overs out and only score, say, 4 and over off those overs, only you lose a wicket maybe, that would mean that they were in with a good shout. Although of course there is a small matter of Ben Sanderson to contend with as well. But Willey is key. Finds the edge of D'Oliveira's bat here, the ball runs down to third man and they go through for a single. So a steady start, as indeed we saw in the Steelbacks innings. If you've been watching all through our broadcast, you will know that we've already highlighted the very inconsistent run scoring in the Steelbacks innings. There were some huge overs. The sevens went for 21, there was an 18, a 16, a 15, but also some very low scoring overs as Willie bowls and Pollock drives nicely, but straight to mid-on, and there's no run. And Fateh Singh in particular, 4 overs, 1 for 16, the young left-arm spinner, bowled particularly well. But at the other end of the spectrum, if you can have an end of a spectrum, Finch, 3 overs, cost 38, so there were some very expensive overs and some very tidy ones. And not that many in the middle that go for sort of 5 or 6. As Willie bowls and Pollock gets a boundary off the last ball of the over, just steering this one really behind square on the offside. That makes it a very good over for Worcestershire. 9 runs having come from it.
It's a
as
brilliant
they seek
over.
191 to win.
It's a brilliant over, Frank, and I'll tell you for why. It is the worst over that David Willey has bowled first up in this campaign by miles. In 2 of the 3 games, he got 2 wickets in his first over, and in the third, he only got 1. But then he got 1 in his second over. So it's the first time that David Willey has been wicketless. It's also 9 off it. So a watchful start to proceedings.
Nice to see Ed Pollock, having hit 2 good shots to fielders, standing still and steering that last ball down to the boundary.
Sanderson then into skipper D'Oliveira, who's on the walk, and Sanderson finds a back of a length really. Kept D'Oliveira where he was, but looking to use his feet straight away is the skipper. You're right, he looked very composed, didn't he, Ed Pollock? We know what he can do. He can be incredibly destructive. I think sometimes you just want him to get a feel for the game before going big. D'Oliveira deep in his crease this time, cut away, and he's hit that well, and that looks like it's going to beat the man to the fence. It is. So we've seen again a little sachet down the wicket, and then next delivery deep in his crease.
Really interesting.
And if the bowler doesn't change his length, the batter will change it for him. Really good cricket.
Yeah. Really interesting use of the feet by D'Oliveira off those 2 deliveries.
But we saw Vasconcelos do it a little bit as well. And positive start this for Worcestershire. In comes Sanderson again. Skipper still on strike again, moves back, offers a blade this time, and it's a genuine play and miss.
Delivery. He's a good bowler, Ben Sanderson, in this competition. Well, in any competition, but he's been really brilliant in this competition for the Steelbacks.
But he's been excellent at the back end as well, hasn't he?
Gets those Yorkers in at the end.
It's good to have Willey at the top of proceedings. Sanderson particularly, he's good everywhere in fairness. In he comes again. Again, D'Oliveira's back. Heaves that round the corner. He's going to be caught here. Oh, he tried his best to drop it, did Zabe, but he held on to it in the end. And D'Oliveira's got to go. And it's first man out for the Rapids. 13 for 1 the score. It was short. He helped it round the corner, but it was straight to that man. It wasn't a particularly short ball, but he picked it up well. But he also picked out the fielder. And Zabe tried his best to shell the catch. Grabbed it on the second attempt. And Kashif Ali finds his way out to the middle.
Yeah, it was actually quite a good catch by Zabe in the end, wasn't it? It was over his head. And if he dropped it, it would have gone over the rope for 6. He was right on the rope. And he just juggled it, snatched it with his right hand, and fell to his knees with relief, I think. Brett D'Oliveira will feel, as did Gretzky in the Northampton innings, who was caught in a similar position in the first over, almost identical actually, that if he'd just got a little bit more on it, he could have had a very different evening. As it is, his innings is ended, his evening is over, and Worcestershire are 13 for 1. Good start for Sanderson. Hit for 4 and then responds with the ball past the outside edge and then gets the wicket with the next one. Kashif Ali, the new man.
Sanderson on his way in from New Road and a little press forward and drills that to mid-off. Good looking shot for none. But he's been very positive. He tends to be really clean striker of a ball, Kashif Ali. Got a couple of starts here. Want to look for a good score here. In comes Sanderson again. Last ball then of the second over. Good pace on that as well. It's just tucked into the leg side. And they'll take a single, so Cash will keep the strike. The score will move on to 14 for 1. And it means the required rate is just a gunshot under 10. No need to panic by any stretch in the modern game.
Yeah, 5 off the over. 14 for 1, similar position. Northampton were 10 for 1. And then they only got 2, well, they got 8 of the next over, but then they started to go into double figures after that.
It's going to be, the snake's going to be weird because they're going to be right next to each other, then miles apart, then right next to each other. So, you know, the updates are almost going to be pointless in that regard, aren't they?
Yeah. Unless we get a similarly bizarre Manhattan, really. But
we did see a bit of that from Northampton last time out, actually. The good bowlers were good and the few went round the park.
David Willey continues. Single for Kashif, he just tucks it away on the leg side. So the batting to come for Worcestershire, Adam Hose, who is in good form. Played very well on Sunday, 54 against Yorkshire. Ethan Brooks, Gareth Roderick, Ben Dwarshus, Tom Hinley, Fateh Singh, Adam Finch and Jacob Duffy. All except Duffy, probably capable of making a significant contribution. Willie bowls. Pollock goes big for the first time. Doesn't quite get hold of it. Looking to hit it straight down the ground, but gets enough of it to get 4. First time he's really opened his shoulders, Pollock. He favours the leg side, if anything, when hitting boundaries. Really aware of that. He was outside the off stump, and he came off it a little bit. He hit it nicely enough, but just came off it a little bit. Otherwise, it might have gone all the way. Willie bowls and beats him outside the off stump with a good one. Good response from the bowler. But the boundary early in the over. Good news for Pollock. And if he just keeps his head, gets another 1 or 2 this over, that'll be fine. The danger is that he will go looking for the boundaries against Willie. And I can understand why, because it's a power play and he's got to look to be proactive. He's gone aerial on the leg side this time, just helping it around for a single. Down to deep backward square. Zabe the fielder. 20 for 1 then. Pollock into double figures. This next one's short to Kashif, and he tries a hook shot, but it's through to the keeper without him getting a touch. It's good from Willie.
Well directed, wasn't it? Cramped him for room. He wasn't really in a position to play any shot there, really, Cash. Really canny operator. Good again with the bat as well. 36 he made, David Willey.
Kashif tries to launch this one, but just cloths it really up to mid-on for a single. But it's the end of another Willie over without him taking a wicket. Worcestershire are 21 for 1 off 3, which is a little bit ahead of where Northampton were at the same stage. They were 18 for 1. Remember, the target is 191, so a further 170 to win off 17 overs, and even I can work out the required rate.
Feel that with Sanderson, it doesn't quite get the recognition he deserves really in the game. If players like that, who again, canny operator, just knows what to do.
First two names on the team sheet, I should think Willie and Sanderson.
Cash on strike. He's got plenty of that, but it's gone
Out.
up rather than out. Taken in the end by McManus. They've been watchful against Willie, but it's Sanderson doing the damage. It's his second wickets. It's the Steelbacks' second wicket. Worcestershire 21 for 2. And a thick edge. And Kashif knew as soon as it hit it, head down. So in comes Adam Hose. You're right, Frank, fresh off the back of a really impressive 50. Vintage Adam Hose, really. But he comes to the middle with his side in a spot of bother.
Yeah, good from Sanderson, I think. Bit of pace, really. What did for Kashif? Gone for the pull shot ball on him a bit too quickly, and he has perished. Ball went miles up in the air, but Lewis McManus with the gloves on, never in danger of dropping that one. Just watched it all the way, and well, keep Willie out. Lose wickets to Sanderson.
Yeah.
Not in the plan, but
well, it was an interesting knock from Kashif. He was on the walk a lot. He was taking a stroll towards the bowler an awful lot. I think he's better when he stays still a little bit more. In comes Sanderson again then. Hose to face his first ball.
keeper standing up.
So work to do here for Worcestershire. But this is a Steelbacks side in really good form, it has to be said. 3 wins from 3. Power all the way down in the batting lineup, and Sanderson and Willie, an opening ball partnership, showing all their skill this evening. And Hose again, pushed into the offside, take a quick single. And he's off the mark. But we have seen in other games when these two don't have ball in hand, Scrimshaw and Pope have been expensive.
I think it's important one of these two plays a big knock, to be honest. Not saying that there aren't other capable players, but one of these two needs to go big.
Well, it's Ed Pollock on strike, left-hander. In comes Sanderson, and he's well in behind that is Pollock, and you get the sense, Frank, I think, that Pollock understands the situation he's in here, the responsibility he now has. A couple of boundaries to his name, one guided through backward point, one a more aggressive stroke over the infield. But Sanderson's asking all kinds of questions here. And he comes again, New Road End. And looks to swivel and pull that away. In the end, it just thuds into a pad, I think, and they'll take a single. Yep, indicated such. So, just a couple of singles from that over. A fantastic one from Sanderson. I think we might be seeing Luke Proctor next.
Yeah, that's a really, really good over from Ben Sanderson. Just 2 runs coming from it. One of those was a leg by. So his figures 2 for 6 from 2 overs. And it is indeed Luke Proctor coming into the attack at the Diglis end of the ground. He's in now for his first ball, and it's pulled away by Pollock down to long leg for a much needed boundary for the Rapids. And I think it goes without saying, Jim, that they'll be targeting the change bowlers, given that Willie and Sanderson have both bowled so well to start with. And let's give Willie some credit for Sanderson's wickets as well, because batters have taken chances against him. He's got wickets with 2 short deliveries. Proctor to Pollock, hammered down the ground this time by Pollock. Is it going to go all the way? It is going all the way. So 10 off the first 2 deliveries of Proctor's over. Does Pollock now continue the charge, or does he think, well, we've got 10 off the first 2 and we're in a good position and we need to just be a bit more circumspect for the rest of the over?
Well, we'll see. I think if the ball's there, he's going to have a go.
He got 100 on Monday for the second team in a T20 against Somerset. Proctor in again, bowls, and he in fact takes the pace off this one, and Pollock neatly steers it down to third man for 2. So a good start to the over for Worcestershire. 12 from the first 3 balls. They needed it. 23 for 2 after 4. Northampton Steelbacks, remember, 53 for 1 off their power play. Proctor in again to Pollock, who is pushing this one nicely up to mid-off, keeping his shape, aware that with 12 already scored, there's no need to do anything daft.
Well, I mean, Proctor is an interesting character from a T20 perspective, Frank. 36, and it's only, I think, his 3rd game in 5 years.
In again now, bowls, and Pollock pulling this one away on the leg side and is out, caught at backward square leg. Sucker blow really for Steelbacks. Proctor just bowling it a little bit short of a length. Leg stump, right where Pollock likes it, but he just not got hold of it. And it's another catch for Safe Zabe. Low down, running in from the boundary. And Worcestershire in a bit of trouble, I'm afraid, now at 35 for 3.
Well, you're right, it was bowled in an area that he would feel comfortable in. But it's a good take in the end, just above the turf from Safe Zabe, but he didn't have to move much. And that's a disappointing end to what looked like it was going to be a promising innings for Ed Pollock. Felt that he understood the situation he was in and was making good decisions, but he's found that man on the leg side. So he has to make his way back into the pavilion. 22, he scored. Proctor's got a wicket in his first over, even though it's an expensive one. First 3 balls went for 12. But yes, despite being 36 years young, only played 14 games T20 for Northants since joining in 2018, so not the most experienced in this format.
Ethan Brooks is off the mark with a lovely shot off his first ball, driven through extra cover, and they'll come back for 3 runs despite good fielding. Nicely timed. It's getting dark, so a little bit of rain in the air, and I'm just wondering if that is just making Worcestershire a little bit edgy at the moment, thinking about whether they need to press the accelerator to get themselves into a position of some strength. They're a long way behind at the moment.
19
Lewis
runs
is
behind
57, but that can change very quickly with a few boundaries. Brooks off the mark on 3, 38 for 3, another good over. In terms of wickets, it cost 15 runs, but I think they'd have settled for that if they knew they were going to get the dangerous Ed Pollock out in Proctor's first over. At a similar stage, the Steelbacks were 46 for 1.
In comes Sands again to Brooks, the new man.
Yeah, just to clarify, they were the Steelbacks 46 for 1 off 5. The Rapids 38 for 3 off 5.
Well,
hence the
into his
Duckworth
third
Lewis
over here, Sanderson, and Willie's okay with going 3 over spells to opening bowlers. Sanderson's been dangerous, bowled really well. 13 balls for just 6 runs, and he comes again and skewed into the offside off the edge of Brooks' bat, so we'll take a single. Good energy in the field from the Steelbacks, as you'd expect as well. Very much on top here. And that's the pressure that the Worcestershire batters are under. Trying to build a partnership but stay with the rate. Questions always being asked of you in T20 cricket. That's why it's a compelling game. We've got a good crowd in here again. Visit Worcestershire New Road. There's nothing quite like being at a live sporting venue with elite competition on show. In comes Sanderson to Hose. And again, on the front foot, Hose, but Sanderson just getting a little bit of shape. McManus up to the stumps as well, trying to keep Hose pinned in his crease. So 3 balls left of the power play. 39 for 3 the score. You'd venture that this will be the last they'll see of Sanderson for a bit. As Hose faces up. That's a good take. That's come off a length. It's spat at Hose. It's gone past the edge at the bat. Genuinely beat the former Warwickshire man. Good take as well behind the stumps. McManus, who was good with the bat as well. Sanderson again. Looks for a little scoop there, and it's going to find its way to the boundary. And he got just enough of it, did Adam Hose. And a welcome boundary for Worcestershire. Just enough to deflect it past the star jump of McManus. Peter Schmeichel-esque if you're of a certain vintage.
It's a lot of pressure on Hose now, isn't there? I think.
Well, he's got the ability to bat long, but also to hit the ball a long way, and you feel like there are going to be overs that have to go, that have to be.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
15, 16.
Yeah.
Not quite yet, but you have to be able to do it. Last ball of the power play then, and seen out by Hose, and you have to say that the Steelbacks will be delighted with that. And you're right, Frank, although Willie was wicketless, asking the right questions, bowling in partnerships, generating pressure as a batter, you feel like for those that are waiting in the pavilion to come in, I say the pavilion, the dugout, which is plonked right in front of us, you feel like you need to get on with it, you feel like you owe it to your team to get bat on ball.
Yeah.
And it was Sanderson that reaped the benefits, but it just shows this is a T20 side that knows its game inside out, really well skippered. So Worcestershire in a real battle here.
Yeah, you're right. They look like a team that has got its plans. I mean, and to be fair, Worcestershire have got their plans as well, and they've been pretty good in the first couple of games. But this Steelback side, off the back of 2 wins, as Proctor bowls and Brooks on the charge, misses this. They look like a side that knows who's going to bowl when and where the field is, how the field is going to be set and where they're going to target certain areas. They look a comfortable, confident unit at the moment, the Steelbacks. Brooks drives beautifully for 4. Probably the best shot of the innings so far.
Yeah, it was
maybe
fantastic.
Ed Pollock's 6, but that was just beautifully timed by Brooks.
Just little trigger across.
Lovely shape to the shot.
Beautiful.
Didn't try and hit it too hard, made sure it went through the gap. Good footwork. Trying to put the bowler under a bit of pressure. On the walk, hammers this one, but unfortunate, straight to the fielder at mid-off. So Brooks trying his best to put the bowler under pressure, using his feet twice in the over to go down the pitch, wants to move across his stumps, targeting the slightly lower pace of Proctor. This one's short. It's almost like a tennis shot by Brooks. slapping it down behind square on the leg side. They pick up 2.
It's very well controlled, I thought, actually. They're swivelling, keeping it on the deck.
Well, he's a very talented and imaginative batsman, Ethan Brooks. Probably the best example of that we've seen this season came in the red ball game. Proctor bowls and he drives again. This time will take a single to Willie at mid-off, who shies at the stumps, but he's diving in and gets home. The 50 is up for Worcestershire. In the red ball championship game at Chelmsford, where on the last morning Ethan Brooks almost single-handedly got Worcestershire into a position to challenge before a controversial end, and played some remarkable shots with every fielder on the boundary. Still managed to clear the ropes on 3 or 4 occasions. Hose on strike, short from Proctor, pulled for a single. End of the over, 51 for 3, 8 from it. So Worcestershire haven't had, well, they've had 1 big over, a 15, but they haven't had the 2 or 3 big overs that the Steelbacks had early in their innings. And at the moment, Duckworth Lewis is 69, Worcestershire are 51, so that margin of 17-18 remains about the same, and the Steelbacks will be by far the happier of the 2 sides.
Well, we're into the 8th over. George Scrimshaw, formerly of this parish, of course, didn't quite find his way into the world of first-team cricket for Worcestershire. He finds his way at Northamptonshire, Derbyshire. In he comes then, tall pace bowler. That's a single is taken first up, and a rather dashing moustache as well, I like to see. Strong facial hair. Still part of the game. Dwarcious as well. It's an Australian staple, of course, but it's obviously, moustaches are popular in Burton-on-Trent as well. Good for you, George. And
yeah, Derbyshire boy, really, even though he started here.
He comes. It's good pace as well, and all Ethan Brooks can do is bump that back towards the bowler rather uncomfortably. He's got England honours as well.
It's a well-known name in the Burton-on-Trent cricket fraternity, Scrimshaw. I think Steve was his dad, who played a lot of club cricket around there.
And he comes again, and not quite where he intended, but squirts out into the leg side, and Vasconcelos will come in and do the fielding. So another single. So this is a really solid start to the over from George Scrimshaw. And as the required rate is on its way north of 11, then I think sooner rather than later, shots in anger. Hoser waits this time. In comes Scrimshaw. Little ramp there. It's a great shot. He scooped that, and that's going to go for 6. And it's not even close. Goodness me. Hand-eye coordination, the footwork, the confidence, the execution, all there. Adam Hose, lovely, lovely shot.
Quite brilliant from Hose. Just so well executed. Big pacey Scrimshaw. It was outside off stump. He's made his mind up what he was going to do. His feet were great. Moved right across outside it. Scrimshaw shakes his head, and well he might, because he didn't do much wrong there, the bowler.
No. Is there a riposte? Hose goes deep in his crease, and he's crunched that through the offside. There'll be a chase on here for this one, but that's going to beat the fielder as well. 4 more. A scoop for 6 in a cover drive.
He's got you in his ear, Jim. You said shots in anger, and he's produced.
I'd never trust a professional who listened to me, Frank. I couldn't. But there we are.
No, it just shows that, you know, they're reading it out there exactly as we are here. It's got to happen, hasn't it? In these next few overs, they've got to get somewhere near.
Last ball of the 8th, a good over for Worcestershire, and pushed into the leg side. He's timed that well. Should be a couple there, and there is. But a really productive over there for Worcestershire, but more specifically Adam Hose. And,
14 off that over. Big over, just when they needed it. They've had a 15 and a 14.
well,
Duckworth Lewis is now just 11 runs ahead, so that's the extent to which that can change so quickly. But it is dark, isn't it, as well? You know, no lights here at New Road, of course, and you could always tell by the brightness with which the lights on the scoreboard on the far side of the ground shine out, and they are very, very brilliant at the moment. As Lloyd Pope comes into the attack from the Diglis end, and Hose meets his first delivery with a reverse sweep out to save Zabe. And they get a single.
got a bit of a whack against Derbyshire, but he's Adelaide Strikers had a good campaign in the Bash last time round. Leading wicket taker for them with 15 at 21s.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
That's more than handy, isn't it?
In again now from the Diglis end, bowls, and Hose drives out on the offside. Just a single again.
I think the telling part here is they've got to be aggressive in these middle overs, because if the run rate's asking for 12s and you've still got to face Sanderson and Willie towards the end, they don't give you much.
Pope again in, clipped away on the leg side by Brooks, and there's a misfield which allows them back for 2. Definite case of where they would have only got 1 had it not been for a misfield out there by Britsky. Allows them back for 2.
Good boundary rider as well, Britsky.
Pope in again. Fast leg break, driven down the ground by Brooks, and he is caught. He didn't really get hold of it. David Willey at long on coming in to take the catch. Pope strikes in his first over, and Worcestershire, after a promising partnership, lose their 4th wicket with a score on 69.
Now we've seen at times that Gareth Roderick can play a useful hand here. He tends to favour the leg side square of the wicket, and he'll move plenty in the batting crease to try and make that happen. But you just look at that total, it says 122 to win, Frank. 69 for 4 at one end of things, but 122 runs. And you look at who's in the hutch for Worcestershire and who's going to put their hand up and get the lion's share of them. Now, you mentioned the responsibility that Adam Hose must feel. Well, that's just increased some.
Yeah, well, just looking at the dugout, Tom Taylor there with his bib on because he's not in the side tonight. Be handy to have him in the lower middle order as Pope bowls, and Roderick cuts his first ball to backward point. It's another dot, good start, good over from Pope. Now whatever happens, quickish flat leg breaks. In again now and bowls, and gives this one a bit of air, actually a bit slower, and Roderick just pushes it out on the offside and gets a single, and the total goes to 70 at the end of the 9th. It was at Wantage Road last season that Gareth Roderick played one of his best T20 innings for Worcestershire, when he almost carried them single-handedly to victory from a position of not even being in the hunt really, and almost got them over the line, only for them to be denied by a brilliant last over.
Young lad bowling Yorkers at him, wasn't it?
Absolutely. 70 for 4 at the end of the over. Weatherall, yeah.
God, it's amazing what sticks in the mind, doesn't it?
Well, it would have been a heck of a win.
Okay, safe side is coming in then. And it's full and it's gone through Roderick, and it's gone through McManus as well. So it'll be a bye. Fired that one in, taking a leaf out of Fateh Singh's book. Zabe scored useful runs. He's already taken a couple of good catches as well, out in the deep. Now he's got ball in hand. Facing up to Adam Hose. 16 off 12. He's looked good. A lot of responsibility on his shoulders now. Looks to use the whole depth of the crease to cut that away. But again, it's just singles, and this doesn't hurt the Steelbacks one bit. So Roderick surveys and vigorously twirls his bat. Again, push through, a bit shorter this time, but it's meant Roderick can free his arms a bit, get himself down the other end. Zabe coming round the wicket to Hose, left-hander. That's kept low. Wide give and good keeping though, good grab. Again, plenty on that. Carved away, backward of square on the offside, and that's 4. So a wide followed by a boundary. Much needed. Long levers, Adam Hose. And Paul's this time well in front of square, but David Willey's going to come round. They're going to think about 2. They won't take that arm on, and that's a great throw as well. And again played out, and again Willie will do the fielding. They'll get 2 this time because he's got to take the ball on the slide. So 11 from it. Productive over from Worcestershire. Pretty controlled stuff as well, nothing risky. 81 for 4, sorry. Hose moves on to 22. Roderick, 4 from 5.
Interesting, isn't it, that at the halfway point 81 for 4, and at the halfway point the Steelbacks were 89 for 3. It's not that enormous a difference. I think what you're probably the most worrying thing from a Rapids point of view, apart from the fact that they've lost key batters, as Pope bowls and Hose slaps it away on the leg side but only gets 1, is that the Steelbacks have still got 2 overs of Willie, still got 1 over of Sanderson.
And they scored a couple of big overs towards the
end
of innings.
A couple of really big overs towards the end of the innings, and you possibly don't see that happening. Quick from Pope.
Bowling full as well, isn't he?
Flicked the bottom hand by Roderick up to long on. Yeah, they somehow need to put pressure onto the bowlers in these next 3-4 overs. Pope in again bowls, and Hose just working this one up to long on for a single.
Well, we've seen that Hose can hit good balls for 4. The thing is, where does Roderick found his boundary ball? Where does he find his out shot to relieve the pressure on him? That's going to be the key. Yet to get going in this comp.
Pope bowls, and Roderick chips this on the leg side for just 1. It's Glenn Turner-esque. For viewers of a certain vintage, when Glenn Turner started to really manage one-day cricket, he chipped it over the inner circle for 2 on many, many occasions. Almost became a trademark. Pope bowls, this one turned on the leg side by Hose for a single. It's a different world now, one-day cricket, different era completely. Hard to remember how the game was evolving in the 60s and 70s. What those players would think now, I do not know, as they watch some of the things that the batters can do today, as this one is hitting Roderick on the helmet as he tries to sweep it. It's a dot ball, it's the end of the over. We're going to have a bit of a break now because you have to have concussion protocols when the ball hits the helmet, even when it's off a slow bowler like that. End of the over, 86 for 4. Duckworth Lewis 102. Back up to the teens. And that probably tells you the balance of the game.
Well, I suppose it is what we thought it was, wasn't it? Which was maybe 10 or so above par, 10, 15 above par. And Duckworth Lewis is saying pretty much that. There's a 105 to win. Duckworth Lewis says they should be 101. 86 for 4 is the score. And we are going through concussion protocol, but all indications are that everything will be okay. And Sabe has the ball in hand. Just a really good all-round cricketer. One of those players that's always in the game. And, Adam Hose is going to face up. Sabe's first over went for 10. 9 overs left in this contest, 105 required. That run rate's 11.7. Hose on strike. And that's fired in. It's pinned Hose back a little bit, so he takes a single into the offside. Roderick 6 from 8. 3 men out on the leg side. Plays the reverse. Doesn't quite get it right, but he does find plenty of open space, so he'll take a single. As the dark grey clouds just float on by above our heads on this Friday evening. Fuller this time, played down the ground. Has he got enough on it? And he's just about kept that in. Effective fielding in the end from Britsky. He got hands to it, but he couldn't control it in the field of play. So we'll deal in singles. Good shot from Hose. Didn't quite get enough to clear his man.
Is it more difficult to catch one like that and flick it back in when it's coming straight at you than it is when you're running around?
I'll take it straight at me.
But Britsky there took it, threw it back in.
Lofted into the leg side.
So it was straight at him, and he took it and threw it back in. He didn't try and make a catch out of it.
I suppose if you're trying to just parry it back in on the move,
you're trying
like
to throw
tennis.
it back in and then run back in and catch it. I think it's almost impossible to do if it's coming straight at you.
Heaved into the leg side, but he's not got enough of that, and Will is there, and he takes a good catch. And that's a really big wicket, and you can hear the cheers from out in the middle and the smattering of travelling fans. They know what that means. And when the run rate's 12, you've got to try and send everything you can. And David Willey with those bucket hands was going to make no mistake at all as Ben Dwarsha strides out. And you can feel the pressure on Hose. 2 deliveries before, you had Roderick playing a bit of a wild, swash at a ball outside off. Slightly unconvincing chip into the leg side, and then Hose looking to clear the boundary, but 90 for 5 is the score. And this really well drilled, confident, competent Steelback side. No, they're well ahead of the game here. Target still over 100 runs away.
David Willey gets himself in the right place, doesn't he? He's such a good, what a brilliant all-round cricketer in this format. Bowling, batting and catching and captaining. He's doing everything right, isn't he? Pope to continue. And Roderick can't get anything off this one.
Well, he's played enough of them. T20 games.
Yes, absolutely.
Who do you think has had more T20 games? Ravi Bopara or David Willey?
Pope again, and Roderick goes for the little sweep, which is his main opportunity of getting boundaries off the spinners, I would say, and he does get this one away. Well, I'm going to say David Willey.
It's Ravi Bopara, 481st game this is.
The only reason I was going to say David Willey is because I thought Ravi Bopara was the obvious answer.
David Willey's only played 335, so
I thought you were trying to catch me out.
I wouldn't do that to you, Frank. I wouldn't do it to you.
This one is chipped up in the air by Roderick, and he's got to get away with it as it just lands in between two fielders converging on it on the offside, and they go through for a fortunate couple. But we've reached the point where something's got to give, and Roderick's trying all sorts out there now. Pope again, he's in and bowls, and he goes for the sweep again, and he gets his favourite sort of sweep here in front of square, and he gets all of it. That's a good shot, and it's a boundary.
100 up.
And the 100 is up. Duckworth Lewis is still a long way away at 118, 119 now. Worcestershire 100 for 5, but Roderick is getting the sweep going. That's what he did last year at Wantage Road. But we know we've still got David Willey and Ben Sanderson to ball 3 of the last 7. Pope in again. This time Roderick goes for the reverse. Doesn't quite get hold of it, just gets a little bottom edge on it. Picks up a single. So 101 for 5. And Big Ben out there in the middle. The broad-shouldered Dwarshus Aussie left-hander came in and put back to ball quite effectively against Yorkshire on Sunday. Can he do the same tonight? Full toss. It's clipped away on the leg side. There you are, mate. Have one off the mark. Turned it away. Kept the strike.
With the pressure on and losing wickets as you try and hit out, it even means that you're coming in at batting at 9-10. I know everyone can bat pretty much these days. It's being able to put the bad balls away as well as dealing with the good. And Steelbacks are doing a really good job of just chipping away. Just when Worcestershire look to build a partnership, they break it. And we're going to see, well, this is what I wanted all along, Frank. We're going to have the moustache of George Scrimshaw against the moustache of Ben Dwarshus. Don't tell me we don't bring you the things that really matter on the Worcestershire Rapids live feed.
The battle of the Tashes.
You don't see enough of them in modern sport, Frank. I'm saying, just getting it out there. As I was discovering the wonderful world of cricket in the late 80s and early 90s, we were awash with them. Scrimshaw in, Dwarshus waits, and just tickled round the corner. There is a long leg, so it'll just be one. But you see what he's trying to do there. Looking to go full. Scrimshaw. First over was expensive. 15 came from it. 14 came from it, sorry. Worcestershire would dearly love a repeat performance of that. Roderick on strike then, who is getting every club out the bag. And he's got plenty of grit about him, Gareth Roderick. And flick round the corner, and again, fine leg is there. And it will be a single. Bit too full, bit too straight. Well timed, but just for a single. And again, as the run rate climbs to just north of 13, singles don't hurt this Steelback side at all. And there are going to have to be, well, 3 of the last 6 overs are going to have to be big. Pulled away, and again it's going to just find a fielder. It's a good strike. And Dwarshus is frustrated, he knew. It sat there for him. They're picking out fielders at the moment.
Yeah, it's good from the Steelbacks, isn't it? If you see fielders being picked out, you've got to say credit to David Willey for getting the fielders in the right place and for the bowlers for bowling to their fields. It's good cricket. They've really looked a good unit tonight, haven't they? Of the sides I've seen this season, they've looked as good as any, I think.
Again, clipped into the leg side. Proctor's in business, so he'll complete the fielding. Another single. This is a really tidy over from Scrimshaw. You're right, Frank. And we see what Worcestershire are really good at, very competitive, is that be well drilled, be good in the field, know your plans, know what you're going to bowl, and get everybody knowing what they are contributing to this side, and they do it brilliantly. And it takes work, and it takes a little bit of vision and a little bit of courage. And it does help, as you say, Frank. This Dave Willey, he's just... And look, Ravi Bopara as well. As somebody to go to.
Tonight.
Yeah. Scrimshaw in to Dwarshus. Dwarshus carves away. And on the bounce, it reaches Proctor. And that's going to be a dot ball. And the commotion you can likely hear is because Niall and Ali, the mascots, are right in front of us, delighting the youngsters. And why not? Probably the only two people in the ground that aren't feeling a little bit chilly. For June, it is a little bit chilly. Grey skies above us. The light is holding, though.
For those of you who don't know what Jim's talking about, Niall and Ali, the two Worcestershire mascots, are two giant... Well, I think one's a crocodile and one's an alligator, but I can't tell the difference. They both look big, green and fluffy from here.
Chris Packham's job is safe. In comes George Scrimshaw, and it's kept low.
Good over. Good over. 5 runs off that over at this stage is very, very good, isn't it?
It sure is. 85 from 36 balls. And we'll be honest here, it would take something really quite miraculous for Worcestershire to force a victory from here. But if you want a guaranteed outcome, go to the theatre. Live sport, anything can happen. And Ben Dwarshus, he can give it a whack.
Well, David Willey is coming on, and if he bowls a decent... I mean, this is, again, for me, this is really good captaincy. He may have been thinking I'll bowl the last 2 from one end, but he's now thinking, well, they're so far behind. If I just come on and bowl a decent over here, don't go for more than 5 or 6, they're almost completely out of it. I think it's good captaincy.
And they're going to have to try and whack him.
He knows the game inside out, doesn't he? And all they can do is get a single off the first ball of the over. Roderick moves on to 22. He's only faced 19, and Dwarshus has the unenviable task of having to try and go big against David Willey. And as you say, Jim, and you've been saying it actually almost since the start, but Willey's going to be key, in particular with the ball, and you just can't see it happening.
But he just sets the tone so well in both departments, really.
Well,
he's the epitome of leading from the front.
Here, as he deceives Dwarshus with that one. Yeah, you don't often, I think, not wishing to overstate it, but you don't often find a player who's so completely in control as Willey appears to be at the moment in this Steelbacks side in this competition. That said,
wow.
That said, that's
absolutely
the biggest 6
smoked
that I've seen on this ground this season from that Dwarshus.
Well, he's
That's gone a long, long way.
Cleared the new Wadder stand there
So
in the hospitality.
That'll teach me. Yeah, that's massive. Just right out the screws. But going back to David Willey, it's the right time in his career to be back at Northampton, in charge, batting up the order.
He's got a job
using
for
the
life.
new ball, and he just
But the thing
appears to be at the peak of his powers in this particular format.
Well, he's not going to feel the pressure, is he? He's seen it all before, like Bopara. They can just relax into it. They live for it, you know. There's nothing for him to prove, is there, you know? And actually, it's great to see super talented cricketers demonstrate high skill. But what a strike from Dwarshus. Can he manage more of the same?
Well, he's whacked it again, but this time it's gone to the fielder moving in from the long on boundary. That's Vasconcelos, and they just get a single. But that was massive, wasn't it? That was a really big hit.
Well, I mean,
and it was brute force, wasn't it? We talked about Bopara's elegance down
Yeah.
the ground earlier tonight, and it was a beautiful six that he hit. This was a brutal shot from Dorsius. Roderick cuts. He's a runner ball man, Roderick, isn't he? And that's the, you know what you're going to get from him. He's unlikely to score at two and at two a ball. What's he on? 22 off 20, 23 off 20. But if you've got somebody who can whack it at the other end, and this is why Worcestershire will feel that if they hadn't lost those 5 wickets in the first unit, only 3 down or something, and you need 12 and over, you're in with a shout. Willie to Dorsius again. Big swing and a miss.
Well, I mean, the reality is, Gareth Roderick isn't built for T20. He's not a T20 cricketer, really.
Be something more like a miracle, really, wouldn't it, than a good performance if they were to pull this off. And to be fair, Northamptonshire Steelbacks have been in complete control, haven't they? Really, we thought they batted with great control. Vasconcelos and Bopara in particular, Willie too at the top, and they've just had the lid on it. You feel all the way through this bowling performance.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got the sense that Worcestershire were just a couple of steps behind.
Yeah.
Scrimshaw then to Hindley. Heaved into the leg side as 3 players try and chase back to get there. But it plugs and they'll take a couple. And we are in shotter ball territory because the run rate's 15. And
yeah, we
15 and over it is shot a ball and see what you get. I think we're going to see a fair amount of Scrimshaw testing the middle of the pitch and bowling full as well. Got a good slow ball bouncer to his name as well, and he comes. And that's heaved away. That's a thick edge, but that's going to go for 6, I think. Has it gone all the way? The white covers
4,
and the white
I
ball
think.
have done for me. It is 4. Only just short.
Fast hands, just as well. I don't think he knew all about it.
It wasn't the most cultured stroke, but the end result was what he would have hoped for. And at this point, there are no style points, and it's just it's time to go. So an eventful over, a 6, streaky 4, a wicket, a 2 as well.
Still 2 balls left.
And again, short this time.
That's 4.
Pulled. A lot of bottom hand in that, but he's found the boundary.
How do you describe that one from the coaching manual? Let's have a look. Not much footwork.
No. No.
Yeah, that was a beach cricket shot, wasn't it, really? Just walk back outside the leg stump and thought wherever it goes, it's having a big swing. And, well, he's 10 off 3.
He's moved to leg. Scrimshaw's followed him, which is fair enough, but he's got his hands through it.
10 off 3.
And then a play and a miss, just for good measure.
Well
What
bowled.
a interesting over that turned out to be. And 16 from it. A play and a miss. A skyer that dropped between 3 fielders and a wicket as well.
Good end to the over, I thought, from Scrimshaw with that good, quick delivery. Basically saying, well, you know, you can have a wild swing, but if I bowl you a good, quick, short one, you're going to struggle to get a bat on it, and that was the case. But still alive, the Rapids. Duckworth remains at 18 away from the total, but they are 6 down now. And Willie is going to continue. He's going to bowl his last over, and he's bowling to Dorcius, who connected with 1 in the last over to good effect. Connects with this one to good effect. He'll get 2, I think, as Zabe runs round the boundary to do the fielding. But really, both these 2 left-handers setting themselves with quite wide-footed stances and just looking to have a swing. Good Yorker from Willie. Dorsus actually did pretty well not to try and whack that, just made sure he got a bat on it and squeezed it out on the offside.
Yeah, just checked his shot, but you're right, they're just looking to free their arms at this point, and decent swinging arc, see if they can middle a few.
Hindley then, 10 off 4. Probably won't have faced David Willey before. And whacks him away in the air on the offside, and he'll pick up a couple of runs. Dorcas has to hurry, but Hindley continues to put bat to ball with real purpose. Has no choice, of course. 12 off 5.
Well, he's a left arm wrist spinner as well, so he's in the entertainment business, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He certainly is. And he's in the entertainment business here because he's hit that one into the Graham Hick Pavilion for 6. Short from David Willey, and Hindley just stood there, kept his eye on it and gave it a whack over square leg. Tremendous strike. It was a really good shot. Wasn't actually looking at it as he made contact with it, but fast hands, and he's kept the crowd interested. He's 18 off 6.
Target's below 50, Frank.
Big swing and a miss at this next one from Willie. I'm surprised he's not tried to get the Yorker in again. Maybe he did. 142 for 6. Stranger things have happened. Big over. 11 off it so far. A boundary off this ball would make it a little bit more interesting. It's not going to be a boundary, but it is going to be a single. So David Willey finishes with 0 for 37. If we'd have known he was going to have those figures at the beginning, we might have made a slightly different prediction, which probably just goes to show how well the rest of them have bowled. Yeah,
well look, if you'd offered me that before the start of the game, I say Worcester should chase it down. I really do.
Yeah.
But no, this is a really good, well-organised team. Just trying to figure out, based on results and who they've played and how the games have gone, whether the Steelbacks are for real this season. They absolutely are.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's going to look to close this out, and if not, take wickets to kill it, to skyrocket the run rate, because I think Sanderson's going to come back on. Oh, no, he's not. We're losing another top. Is that Proctor? No, it is going to be Proctor.
Well,
who came into the game late against Derbyshire to bowl an over.
They've got to get 20 off this over, I reckon.
Yeah, this is the over. This is the over to go.
They've got to get 20 off this over, and that is not going to be easy with the field very, very well spread. 3 overs remaining then.
Well, I'm anticipating potentially a few slower ball bounces. I think there might be a few cross-batted shots to come. Fuller this time, good ball, and fired out to deep cover.
That's well bowled, isn't it? No great pace. Margins for error are smaller, as we saw when
you can't get underneath it.
Change bowlers went, but yeah, he's got the length right. Good bowling.
Brings Dwarshuis on strike. It's been the Hindley show of late. Dwarshuis deep in his crease. Looks to get plenty of that, but again, it's right in the block hole.
Got to come back for 2. Have to hurry, but they've made it.
It's good running.
Yes, good bowling again.
Yeah, really effective start.
Aspinwall for Lancashire in a couple of games this year. That ability to get the Yorker in at the end when they're looking to go big is so important, isn't it? Such a skill.
It's a full toss this time, but Hindley can only send it again out to save Zabe, rather like Ed Pollock in Steelbacks innings, just has seen a lot of the ball.
Good bowling again, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good control. It's a low full toss, and again, to a top order batsman, you might see a rather different result, but as it is, Worcestershire 6 down, and that's going to be a dot ball. This is a really good over. Actually, I'll take it back. There's going to be an overthrow. There was a chance of a run out, but I don't think he needed to take it.
No, he didn't. He probably would have backed himself to hit from there, I suppose, but good bowling.
It will give
1-2, 1-1 in this over. At this stage, it's almost killed it, this over, isn't it?
Well, I think we know what's going to come. It's got to be a big shot, hasn't it? So can Proctor, can he execute again? Good footballs, and he's got a scoop on that, and that's going to go to the boundary. It's going to be 4 more.
This next one's got to go to the boundary as well, I think, if Worcestershire going to have any chance, given that Sanderson is going to bowl one of the last 2 overs.
Well,
and Sanderson and Scrimshaw, one imagines.
Dwarshuis do here, and he has matched
massive.
that, and he's absolutely smoked it. So they needed a good out in this over. They've got themselves a 4 and a 6, and just when you thought they were out of the game, Frank.
Yeah, 15 off the over.
So 33 from 2. It's still unlikely, but it's not impossible, and Willey has bowled out.
15 off the over, and the first 3 balls were 1-1-2, I think, so that's pretty impressive striking from Dwarshuis.
So what's the approach here? Do they go Sanderson for an over and try and kill it now? I think they do.
It looks like it, yeah.
So 33 to win, 12 balls. Look, the odds are against the Rapids.
Get it below 20, that last over, which will be Scrimshaw.
I think it's got to be in the teens, and then
got to be below 20.
Pressure on the bowler, edges and everything else, but we'll see.
He's gone for 7.
2 for 7 from 3, Frank.
Wow.
That was a long time ago.
Best figures I've seen, I think, for a long time.
Has he got enough?
No.
I don't think he has. What a great grab that is. And Tom Hindley's valiant effort has come to an end.
I thought he had initially, did you?
I thought he got enough yet. It was a full toss. He cleared his front leg. He had to go for it. And my goodness, it would have made it interesting. But trying to hit Sanderson for 6 and actually hitting for him for 6 are very, very different things. But it's a great effort from Tom Hindley. He's getting a really generous round of applause and a few cheers as well. And it wasn't necessarily the style of the innings, Frank. It was the intent, it was the heart. Yeah. It was a willingness to try and drag his side back into a game, and that's what you want to see from a Rapids perspective.
Well, they added 37 for that 7th wicket in 3 overs, just under 3 overs. So it's a brilliant effort, really.
So Fatih Singh, welcome to the crease. 3 wickets for 7 runs, Sanderson. How do you fancy depositing him for a few? It's a tough ask, isn't it? What a fabulous game cricket is.
Sensational figures, aren't they? Really. Can you remember figures like this? If he ends up with 4 for under 10 or something, it'd be incredible. Fatih Singh, swing and a miss, I think. It might have been a swing and an edge.
I was going to say, I think he might have got something on that.
Yeah, well, it could have been 4 for. He's been dropped by the keeper. They've gone for a single. It's very dark. Very dark. I mean, it's easier seeing a white ball in light like this than it is a red ball, but it's pretty dark out there now. 159 for 7. And Ben Sanderson, 3 for 8. And he's had a catch dropped. Absolutely sensational performance. Comes in now to Dorsius. And he has a big swing at that and misses it.
Slower ball, really clever.
Again, really clever bit of bowling. Sanderson is bowling beautifully tonight.
Well, he's the
Willie
difference,
may not
isn't he?
have been, yeah, exactly. Willie may not have been as economical as we thought, or as damaging. 4 overs, no maidens, no wicket for 37. But Sanderson, 3 for 8. It's extraordinary effort. This one driven straight back to him. Does his own fielding.
Again, there's a bit of pace off and it's full, and it looks. It's just one of those situations where.
Oh, it's caught and bowled. Oh, he's claiming a catch. Dorsius is not walking. He's saying it was a bump ball. I beg your pardon if you're watching, and you might be able to see it better than we can. We are square of the wicket. I'm looking at the monitor. Dorsius is insisting that he's hit that into the ground, and he's been given out. Sanderson was in no doubt. Just watching a replay now. Ooh, I wouldn't like to say. I think it was a bump ball, but I'm not sure. Anyway, he's gone, and it's 4 for 8.
I wouldn't like to say, but I will say immediately.
Well,
it does look like a bump,
I wouldn't like to say if it was my decision. It looked like a bump ball to me, but he has been given out, caught and bowled, and Sanderson's taken his 4th wicket. 4 for 8. His figures are absolutely extraordinary. But with Dorsius's wicket goes, I'm sure, any last hope that Worcestershire had.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and it is a tricky one. I think you are right, Franco. All joking aside, I think it is a bump. But I mean, sometimes you just have to hold your hands up. I mean, Worcestershire have not played bad cricket at all, but they've just come up against somebody who has been exceptional. It's just been a fabulous performance. He's given nothing to hit, has he?
Amazing.
And sometimes you just have to hold your hands up when somebody does something special. As Sanderson's on his way in again, he's not done.
He's got another one. 5 for 8.
He does.
Adam Finch is out first ball. No blame attached to him, couldn't do anything else. And Ben Sanderson has figures of 5 for 8. I've never seen a performance of that nature before, of that in terms of numbers of that nature before in a T20 game.
No, it's like club cricket, isn't it? It's from a professional perspective.
Amazing. 5 for 8. I think he might get the MVP award.
He's got a good shout. He's got a good shout.
It's looking like a huge victory now for the Steelbacks, and they have played, dare I say it, almost impeccable cricket, I would say, so far. I
mean, there was that one moment, Bopara getting dropped early, and you think maybe that might have changed things a little bit, but from 1 to 11, it's been a sterling performance, hasn't it? It really has. And Worcestershire haven't been bad by any stretch. The fact they have to go and hit out means that it might make things look a little bit bleaker statistically than the outcome really was. They've just come up against a really good side tonight, and that's fair enough. As Duffy faces up.
And he's out.
And that's a hat-trick.
6 for 8 and a hat-trick.
Well, that will conclude proceedings, and while things came to an end rather swifter than Worcestershire would have liked, they've come up against an absolutely phenomenal bowling performance. And if Willie doesn't get you, Sanderson will. It means that it's a victory margin of 31 runs, and the Steelbacks have just played some wonderful cricket. A batting lineup, if one comes up a little bit short, there's always someone else to come in and hit a few. Bowling performances, it's just been a fantastic team effort. And in their pursuit of 191 to win, 159 all out, Pollock made 22, looked promising before he got caught in the deep by Zaeb. D'Oliveira was the first to go. He was one of Sanderson's first wickets. Kashif was the second. He made 3. Adam Hose made 27 before Zaeb got him. And then Pope accounted for Brooks. And then Scrimshaw bowled Roderick. Roderick made 29. Did his best to drag his side back in it. And then there was that cracking partnership. 37 from 3 overs. As Dwarshus and particularly Tom Hindley looked to take the attack to the Steelbacks, 26 and 21 respectively, but Sanderson got them both. And Fateh Singh was stranded on 1 not out from 1 delivery, as both Finch and Duffy went for first ball ducks. Sanderson completes the hat-trick and has the quite remarkable figures of 4 overs, 6 for 8. That is 4 overs, 6 for 8.
4 overs, no maidens, 6 for 8. Just incredible.
19 dot balls, Frank.
Yeah, amazing. 19 dot balls. Absolutely sensational performance. Other bowling figures: Willie, 4 overs, no maidens, no wicket for 37. Proctor, 3 overs, no maidens, 1 for 38. Scrimshaw, 3 overs, no maidens, 1 for 34. Zabe, 2 overs, no maidens, 1 for 14. And Pope, 3 overs, no maidens, 1 for 22. Vasconcelos batted beautifully for the Steelbacks. David Willey was also very good. Ravi Bopara was his elegant self, 36 out of 30 balls, saved Zabe. And Lewis McManus, magnificent at the end. We mustn't forget that. Zabe 23 off 11 and McManus 21 off 9, as Worcestershire had a really in and out bowling performance. Fateh Singh deserves special mention. 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 16 from him. He also had Ravi Bopara drop very early on. But in many ways, Worcestershire have been completely outplayed here tonight. Let's be perfectly honest about it. Not that they were desperately bad themselves, certainly in the first half. Possibly not quite on it in terms of their bowling, although I thought Duffy in particular was very good. 4 overs, no ends, 2 for 27. Didn't bat particularly well, but they've come up against a side who has won every game that they've played so far. They're top of the table. That's 4 from 4 for the Steelbacks, and they look like a side that knows its game. They're well captained by David Willey, an experienced man who's been there, done that, seen it all, this format of the game. He's got a bunch of players around him that he obviously trusts, and he's got Ben Sanderson himself at the top, bowling well. He's got pace from Scrimshaw. He's got options down the card with his bowlers. Didn't even use Ravi Bopara today, and they've got a lot of batting as well. They look the real deal, the Steelbacks.
The thing is that sometimes in T20 one player can just win you a game, something miraculous, but this Steelback side are going to be really hard to beat. They've got too many good players that can contribute, and I'll just quickly say about Zabe and McManus that are both striking at well over 200. Those two little cameos at the end of the innings, the margin of defeat's 31 runs, and that aggressive little finish towards the end of things meant that Worcestershire had to be aggressive and chase the game with Sanderson at his absolute peak. Well, we've given all the credit to the Steelbacks. They have played some fabulous cricket with bat and with ball, field placings, everything you can imagine. Worcestershire Rapids really did give it everything they had, but in the end they have come up against a really good side here. So, defeat by 31 runs, but we go again. And we'll see you on the next live stream. Frank, it's been a pleasure as always. I'm Jim Dale. He's been Frank Watson. And thank you for spending the time this Friday evening at Visit Worcestershire New Road for the live stream.